Here are 5 upgrades that you must add to your miter saw to see a massive improvement. One of them, initially, I wasn't really sold on, but more on that later. So the first thing we're going to upgrade on this thing is going to be this bad boy, this dust chute. While it's okay for what it is, this right here in this box should make it very close to perfect. More on this later. Now let me show you the reason why I decided to upgrade my dust chute. This is a cut with the standard dust bag that came with the miter saw, and as you can see, it's practically useless. So I upgraded to a shop vac with a hose, and that seemed to be doing a pretty solid job. But this dust chute that I'm about to show you guys, apparently it's really great. Like, it's top tier. It almost 100% improve your dust collection. So we're gonna try it out and see if it's worth the hype. Installing this thing was really simple. The video, the instructions, it's fairly easy. Took me, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes because I was recording to change this out. And since this section is not a how to install dust chute video, we're just gonna fast forward through this part. Now on to the good stuff. Let's see if this bad boy actually collects more dust. Well, I have to say, I'm not all that impressed. Maybe I was expecting something magnificento, or I don't know. There's still dust. For some reason, I just expected no dust. It's just like, it's a little bit better though. Be honest, it's a little bit better, but it's not blowing me away. All right, next on the list is gonna be under the hood. It's kind of messy right now, but just ignore that. Stay open. As you can see, I just have a shop vac right here, and then I have a dust deputy, which I'll throw a link up to everything that I have in case you want to grab it. While the dust deputy is great, the real win comes in here. Something that I never really thought of, or I can't say never thought of, I've kind of just looked past, and turns out that it greatly improved my dust collection for just like 20 bucks, which is insane, is a dust bag. Wait, no, what is it? Filter. Yeah, a dust bag filter. You know what I'm talking about. Don't skip over this right here, buddy. Do not do it. This is very important. This literally, it keeps my filters clean. I don't have a picture of before how it was, but I usually have to take this outside, dust it off, blow it off, whatnot. But now this pretty much stays clean all the time, and I do a lot of cutting out here. Most of the dust goes into this bad boy over here, but it obviously passes through here. So don't skip over this. I know it's a minor thing, but this makes a lot of difference. So don't skip over this part. But the real winner under here is going to be this puppy. This is an automatic vacuum switch. For those who aren't familiar, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. So I'm going to start my saw for just a few seconds here. That automatically kicked on. Now, if I didn't know there was a Jesus before, I know there is now. Okay, let me not. Now this thing right here saved me a lot of heartache and backache with having to turn the shop vac on before I use the saw, then turn the shop vac off. Now squeezing the trigger, this thing automatically kicks on and starts the vacuum. This is freaking awesome. A little pricey. I paid, I believe, around $40-something for this right here, but 1,000% worth it. This stays on 7 seconds after I release the saw trigger. So after I release it, it stays on to clear the air of any, dust that may be hanging around. So that's freaking awesome. I can change this to either 10 seconds or 3 seconds. I'll leave it at 7 because, that's good for me. Yeah, so definitely 100% recommend. Honestly, it's right up there with that dust chute. Right up there. And also, let me not skip over this thing. This is important. It's not needed. It's necessary. It just, it stores the dust in for you. Like it collects most of the dust instead of it going in your shop vac, filling it up and, clogging up your filter. Now, the third upgrade that you need to make to your miter saw station is the throat plate. But this is not one where you have to upgrade, because what I understand is on this model saw, you can actually loosen these and get it closer to be zero clearance, which will reduce tear out and stuff like that. But the plan is to replace it with this. I believe this is made out of MDF that I purchased. We're going to slap this in there later on and see how it works. But let's run a few tests. Now this piece is with cutting it, without doing any adjustments. As you can see, it's not great at all. Tear out everywhere. Now, after I made the adjustment to the throat plate and made it zero clearance, this thing looks a lot better. As you can see, the back looks a little rough, but that's fine. We'll tackle that later on in the video. So what I just realized is I'm going to have to skip to upgrade number 4 and then come back to upgrade number 3. Hopefully I'm not confusing y'all. I just realized it, my bad, but you'll see why here in a second. Now it's time for your 4th upgrade. Also, let's pretend like I didn't just stop in the middle of 3 a while ago. But 4th upgrade is changing out the stock blade to something like this. This is 120 teeth, and this was, I believe, 60 teeth blade. Now, I got this blade off of Facebook Marketplace. That's why it looked used, but it was from a carpenter who was retiring, and clearly you can see he kept this blade in really good shape. So I'm very excited about it. And that's the 4th upgrade I recommend you make to your miter saw if you haven't done it already. Welcome back to the 3rd upgrade you must make. The reason why I changed the blade out is because the kerf on both blades, like the size, they're different. The size of the teeth is going to be different from that size that I have in there now. And when I make my zero clearance cut, I want it to be the exact same size of these right here. So that's the whole reason. I mean, it's not a crazy deal, but I just think it's important. So, hey, if you don't want to do that, have at it. But I would say start with changing the blade probably first on your upgrades. Now, it wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't run into some kind of problems. Well then, just with my luck, there's no holes there. We have, you can hardly see it, but we have holes right there. We have no holes right there. So, oh yeah, the holes are here and the holes are up there. I also notice it's a little high. Dude, what the? Yeah, it's just a little bit too high. Needless to say, I will not be putting this in the description. And if I were you, I would not purchase this, because now I'm going to have to figure out a way how to make this work. Like I said, I won't be adding a link to this, but to fix this, I just use a countersink bit, drill those holes, and planed it down or thickness it down to the appropriate width. Now with my new saw blade installed, I just went ahead and cut my zero clearance line. And that's going to be, perfect every time whenever I need to make a cut. The only thing is I'll have to change it out whenever I want to make beveled cuts. Okay. But wow, look at this. This is amazing. There's just still that little tear out on the back, but wow, that is sharp. That is truly amazing, and I believe that has more to do with the blade than the zero clearance. I don't know. What do you think? But that looks phenomenal. We're coming from this to this. That is wow. Now it's time for the fifth and final miter saw upgrade. But before we get there, I want to throw this bonus upgrade in. This is used to cut, used to help you cut like very small pieces instead of putting your hands ridiculously close. I would say get you one of these or make one or something. This is called a $10 million stick. The name, I still have questions about. I did not pay $10 million for it, just in case we were wondering. Actually, I don't remember. I'm going to throw the price up somewhere here. But it wasn't $10 million. But it's come in handy. It keeps these precious little fingers away from the blade. So if you're not already using some sort of board or whatnot, definitely grab you one of these. $10 million stick. That makes no sense to me. Now the fifth and final upgrade I think you should make is by actually creating a sled, like making a sled out of either plywood or MDF like I'm using here. Now the main purpose of building this sled is to cut small parts. And also if you want to literally get rid of all the tear out, you definitely need a sled like this. Now I'm here cutting some small parts to basically use as a guide or a hold to basically hold the sled in place once I make it. But if that sounds confusing, which I'm sure it does, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Luckily, I decided to check to see if the camera was recording, but it was almost too late. But I captured a little bit. This is what I was using those small pieces for, to basically keep the sled in place or hold it in place so it doesn't move around when I'm trying to set it down. This is what it looks like once we're done with it. And you can see here, once I put it back down, it just don't move. It ain't going anywhere. So that's perfect. That's what we want. Now to add the final touches to this, I went ahead and routed out a channel for my T-track using a 3/4 inch straight cut bit. I did it in 2 passes, because we don't want to put too much pressure on the router. And what you'll notice is that I routed the channel out first before I made my final cut, simply because I needed the support. And this is what it looked like before the cut, and this is what it looks like after. Now, after I got through wrestling with the T-track to get it in there, I used some CA glue and activator to get that piece attached to the base piece. And then after I did that, I went ahead and ran some screws through it using my countersink drill bit along with some 3/4 inch screws. And that is going to hold that in place. Now, the downside of building a sled like this is that you won't be able to use the sled with your dust chute on. You'd have to remove it. Now, the good thing about this dust chute is that it's super easy to remove. I just loosened some screws and that bad boy is out of there. Of course, you could custom build a sled where the chute is not going to be in the way of the sled, or the sled is not going to be in the way of the chute. But it's not that serious for me. If it is for you, have at it. Now, this step is crucial if you're going to make a sled like this. Make sure you set your depth stop so it don't cut through the entire thing when you're making your zero clearance cut. Because if it does that, you might as well just throw it in the nearest trash can, because you won't be able to use it. It's going to be flimsy and kind of broken and everything. Just make sure you set your depth stops, so you're really not even going too far down. Once that's done, go ahead and make your zero clearance cut. And T-tracks, most if not all T-tracks are made of aluminum, so you're able to cut straight through it, no problem. Just go slow and steady and you'll be fine. Now that we got that taken care of, I'll be adding some sticky tape, lefty and righty sticky tape. One's on the left side and then one on the other side. This way I can use my T-track stop block, to make repeatable cuts either way. Now, those are the 5 upgrades that I recommend that you must do to your miter saw. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen how I built my miter saw station, you can check it out right up here. Right? It's there. It's gonna be right there. Come on, buddy, you got it. Just click it.